Hey, hello, folks. I'm Tom Vicka, giving Nick Miculus a rest. How about that, Nick? Boy, he was on his game today, wasn't he? And he had to be because I don't know when I've seen so many tornado warnings issued at the same time on the same day, really, across not only central Louisiana, but the Arklatex. A lot of warning up in the Shreveport, Bossier area. Now it's into southwest Arkansas. All right, so let's go on a little camera tour for a bit. Now, I have a 7-day forecast for you, kind of give you a little change of pace from the wall to wall severe weather coverage. It's 87 in Alexandria. We have a dew point of 76. That's why it felt like a sauna this morning. This is that good old tropical moisture. And we see some clouds. You see a little motion with that. These low level winds remain strong. So that's part of the deal. When you get this shear, you get the updraft ingest that spin and create tornadoes. All right, Rapides Hospital, Regional Medical Center. We have the cam view looking to the north, Curtis Coleman Bridge. Not looking too bad in that direction. Natchitoches, well, it was a busy day up there. Well, we had, I don't know, several tornado warnings, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 in that local area. 76 degrees, rain cooled. Did get some good rains up in that area, and that remains under a flash flood warning. Toledo Bend, likewise, a lot of warnings up in Sabine for today. 79 degrees over in that direction. And as we head to our final camera destination, we're going to check out northeast Beauregard Parish between Dritter and Dry Creek, where it is 78 degrees. And the sky looks a little better because they're behind the line of convection down in that area. So speaking of that, we see Beryl, which is across portions of northeast Texas right now. Up in the Jefferson area, just to the north of Marshall, is where the center of that is. I'll put that in motion for you where you can kind of see that. Uh, this is what's left over of the eye wall that came on shore around Matagorda Bay in Texas early this morning, about 2, 3 a.m., I think, is when that made landfall. So you can see it kind of retreating northward. And on the back side of that, we see once again more convection stacked up all the way to the north toward the Red River. So again, that is what's left over of the core that we saw there for the storm. And then here's the famous band, convective band, which is a big long one. Look at this thing stretching all the way into the Gulf of Mexico. I don't know how many hundreds of miles that would be, but notice how it's narrowed out here in the local area. We see some lightning with this, so these are thunderstorms. We continue to monitor this for any rotation that might prompt a tornado warning. Another little band has tried to form from time to time out ahead of the main band, but it hasn't had a lot of success. But we're seeing some thunderstorms walk in toward Catahoula Lake, or over Catahoula Lake right now, and that is where the strongest storm is in that particular band. So this one's to come. You see it's not moving too fast, not in a hurry to get to the east. So there will be some decent rainfall totals with this, but I don't think it's going to be anything terrible because Beryl continues to be moving steadily, and this is one of those situations where you get lucky that we're not going to have the extreme, ridiculous rainfall totals that you can get from tropical systems. Let's see what kind of alerts we have. Tornado watch remains. It's been cut down across Vernon and Beauregard parishes, but remains there across portions of Natchitoches and Sabine, Wynn, Grant, and Rapides. Just hesitant to take it down, I think, because this band is still active. This is a flash flood warning for much of Sabine. In fact, looks like all of Sabine Parish, a good part, majority of Natchitoches Parish, and a tiny sliver of northwest Wynn Parish. Down this way, no warnings or anything happening other than that. You see that was the last vestige of the tornado warnings there during that time frame. All right, let's go ahead and we'll stop the motion, and then we'll take the warnings off, and I'll show you, see if we have any, let's see, oh, yeah, the storm reports. These are some of the storm reports. So we did have a definitely a tornado report 3 miles southeast of Powhatan there, northwest of Natchitoches. That video was sent through social media. And we see some other reports back up across portions of the Arklatex. Some of these signatures were pretty impressive there. So remains to be seen. The National Weather Service, of course, is charged with the responsibility to go out and do the surveys of these. Again, we'll see what happens with those and what they're able to document. Satellite and radar is showing Beryl continuing to move toward the northeast there across East Texas, and it will eventually be pushing into the mid-Mississippi Valley before too long, by tomorrow night, early Wednesday, and it'll certainly be out of our forecast. So again, we're lucky this thing is doesn't want a vacation in Sinlaw like a lot of this stuff does. All right, Futurecast, we will see that band continue to make slow progress. By 1 a.m., this model has it right along the Mississippi River, so that kind of gives you a pace there, kind of a slow but steady pace. So that will keep the rain amounts down under control to something reasonable, and we'll take that break. And then after that, there could be some morning rain. Not really explicitly shown too much on this. It's got it all to the east, but my forecast is going to have some on the 7-day forecast. I'll do in a minute. But otherwise, it's not looking like too bad a day on Tuesday, other than perhaps that morning chance of rain. And then once we go into the rest of the day into Wednesday, things are looking pretty good Wednesday with low rain chances that day as well. So yeah, sometimes these tropical systems, they come through, they kind of stabilize things for a couple of days. All right, tropical interest areas, none over the next 7 days. It's brought to you by Atlas Home Services. And let's go to your 7-day forecast. All right, the front comes in. There's actually a front on the back side of this. That's certainly not unusual with a tropical system. Once it gets up into the middle latitudes, there's contrasting air masses available there. So yeah, you get that kind of pattern. I did hold out for a 50-50 chance of rain during the morning hours, just in case some of this kind of hangs on. But I think the band is going to move through fairly, I won't say quickly, but steadily. And so the rain chances certainly by Tuesday afternoon, not very high at all. If anything, 20% there for Wednesday is pretty low. Notice how temperatures begin to creep up, though, as we'll kind of sort out our departure from Beryl's influence, and we'll return to more of a normal summertime weather pattern as we head through the latter part of this week, the weekend, and even into next week. But we got to keep some token rain chances, 30-40%, which is typical for July, as we see no dominant high pressure, which is going to squash everything. We're still going to have some, ample moisture, enough moisture for convection. And of course, the sea breeze operates and creates things. And once you get the first shower or thunderstorm, it creates outflow, and then that gives birth to new showers and thunderstorms. So you know how that goes. And so that is a typical summer weather time pattern there for us. All right, Nick Miculus is resting up. And if anything happens remainder of the evening, I'll try to cover that. And you'll see Nick on the regular update in the morning. And I'll see you again sometime later on tomorrow as well. Have a good one, and appreciate your support and watching Nick's coverage here for today. We try to provide a valuable service for you to keep you informed during severe local storms and everything else that happens here weather-wise in Sinlaw.